Hey, this is Math Minutes Pro with Dr. Harrison. Today we're going to go over a big idea in mathematics called graphing points in a coordinate plane. Now, this is a coordinate plane that you're looking at, and we have our y-axis and our x-axis. We have the y-axis going vertical and the x-axis going horizontal. This is a foundational concept, usually comes up at the beginning of middle school math. So I know I have some middle schoolers out there. Some of you may need to complete your GED, or maybe you're enrolled in some kind of tech or post-secondary program where you need to go back and review some basic ideas about coordinate plane and graphing points. So this video is for you, okay? Now, we've identified the x-axis and the y-axis. Let's also go over, identify the quadrants. So you have 4 quadrants that you're looking at here, okay? And the first quadrant that we have, this is quadrant 1. So I'm just going to write Q1 for quadrant 1. And they go in counterclockwise direction. This is Q2 for quadrant 2. And this is Q3 for quadrant 3. And this over here is Q4 for quadrant 4. So let's go over the way we travel and the way we move in this coordinate plane. Okay, so I'm going to write some basics over here. So now we refer to this as an ordered pair where we have x comma y. All right, and we call that an ordered pair. Ordered pair. It's an ordered pair because this x-coordinate is always first and the y-coordinate is always second. All right, in these parentheses, it's ordered, and it's called an ordered pair. And that's it's when you plot the points, you have to move in that order. The first moving in the x direction, okay, and then moving in the y direction to plot your points. Now, the way we move in this ordered pair is based on what we understand about these 4 quadrants. Okay, so let's clarify that. Now, the x and y coordinates in the first quadrant are positive x, positive y. And the way that happens is if you're plotting any points in this quadrant, you start from the origin, okay, right? And that origin is 0, 0. So you start from here and you move x, and then positive y. Could be positive 3 and positive 4, plotting a point, and that's how you move. You always start from the origin, okay? So let me fix that so it doesn't look like a negative x. That's good. Now, let's now take a look at what happens if we plot a point in quadrant 2. We start from the origin. Starting from the origin, we move negative x, so that's negative x, and then we move up, positive y. So any points in quadrant 2 are going to have this order, negative x and positive y. Could be negative 3, positive 7. Could be negative 2, positive 1. Very good. Now, if you have any points plotted in quadrant 3, let's go ahead and set that up. Start from the origin. You move negative x, so that's negative x. And then you have to go down to get into this quadrant, so that's negative y. So an example of a point plotted in this quadrant could be -4, -1, -2, -8. Okay? Now, let's explain what happens if you plot any points in quadrant 4. In order to do that, starting from the origin, you'd have to move positive x. So that's positive x. And in order to get anywhere in this quadrant, you'd have to go negative y. So that's negative y. So an example starting from the origin is +4, -20. +8, -1. And that explains how you plot points in this coordinate plane. So we're going to do some examples. And I'm just going to put some numbers on what we call scale, the XY axis. This is referred to as an XY axis right here. So let's go ahead and scale. So usually and they're spaced equally. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now usually when you're plotting points, your teacher will give you a standard graph, but it's good to know how to create your own graph as well. So here we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we have the positive y and the positive x scaled. Now let's scale the negative x and the negative y portion. So let's make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's -1, -2. I'm going to come up with a way to do that so that it's visible. So I'll make that -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And then here, that's your -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. All right, now let's go ahead and plot these points that we have over here. This is sometimes I call it a T-table. So in plotting the first point, we have 1, 2. All right. X coordinate is 1. The Y coordinate is 2. Starting from the origin, we go over 1 up 2. Okay. And I'm going to write, so that's in quadrant 1. I'll write the coordinates for that. Your teacher may ask you to do that sometimes, 1, 2. Now let's plot this one. It's -3, +1. So that's going to be in quadrant 2, starting from the origin, -1, 2, 3, and up +1. So that's -3, 1. Now remember, when you're plotting points, you always start from the origin. Okay? So we've plotted this point, we plotted this point. Now let's go to the next point. Now, we have -2 and +4. Starting from the origin, we go over 1, 2 in the negative direction. And, I need to fix that. That should be, in order for me to get this in quadrant 3, I'm going to make that a -4. Okay? To get that in, let's see, negative and a negative. Yes, so here we go. Starting from the origin, we go -1, 2, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go right here. We have -2, -4. So we plotted this point in quadrant 3. Now, let's go ahead and check that off. Now, what I'd like to do is plot the last point. We have positive, starting from the origin, +3, 1, 2, 3, and then down 1, 2, which is right here. So what we end up with are the coordinates 3, -2. So we've successfully plotted all 3 points, or 4 points, plotted these coordinates. So thank you for watching. This is my explanation of how to graph points in a coordinate plane. Always remember to label your X and Y axis and label your points when you plot them. So thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page on my video description below. On my Patreon page, you can get access to exclusive math lessons, study tips, live Q&A, and more. See you next time.